Well, everybody, this is Docg, and I have a super special friend for you that I haven't talked to probably ever. But um, he's just an awesome guy. His music is just amazing. And I say that about a lot of people, but I really mean that for this guy. He's just comes up with more inspirational and more music based on the fact that he grabbed a lot of stuff from a band called Electric Light Orchestra, ELO. And that grabbed me right away. Michael Lane Hildebrand from BGO, welcome today.
Thank you, Docg. It's a pleasure, it's an honor, and I've been looking forward to this for many years. So thank you for the call and the request, and
Thank you for your
I'm more than
time.
happy to talk to you.
That's a big thing for me, time, because I know a lot of people don't have time on a Sunday, but this is one of them things where I try to be more flexible with artists so I can do an interview with them or do other things with them. So I want to, before we get started, and I mean before we get into all your music, how did you become the accomplished musician that you are? What drove you there?
Accomplished. That's the key word. No, thank you. You're very kind. You're too kind. What got me to being a musician? I started very young. I grew up in Iowa, Muscatine, Iowa, a little town on the Mississippi River, and I've said it before. I grew up with AM radio. I had a radio that I got for Christmas one year, and it just stayed right by my head every night. And I listened to WLS. It's the only station that would come in, and I was just listening to all the hits of the day, and I think that influenced me. I think that influenced me a lot to get me to where I am today. But that's how it all started. If I think back and wonder how it all, started to generate and move forward for me, that's what started it.
Well, let me ask this question that probably a lot of people are going to ask. Why ELO? Why not Foreigner? Why not the Beatles? Why not other bands?
Well,
what was it that attracted you to their music? The melodies, the harmonies, the sounds, everything, right?
All the above. Before ELO, it was the Beatles, and I'm not young enough to have watched them on Ed Sullivan or anything like that.
Right.
But I grew up with the Carpets and the Bee Gees and many other 60s bands getting into the 70s, and then along came ELO, and I didn't discover ELO until 1976. A friend introduced me to them.
Same time with me, by the way. Same time.
A New World Record.
New World Record, living thing. Yep, absolutely.
I played the heck out of that album and read the lyrics and sat there, and you couldn't press fast forward or anything crazy. It was the good old days, and but I liked all their, I liked everything about ELO. It just something connected with me, but like I said, I think it resonated much before that with the Beatles and some other bands, and then along came ELO, and it's Bubblegum Orchestra, but that wasn't really my thoughts of when it came up with the orchestra in my name to be like ELO or anything. But if you put strings in a song, you have catchy melody, backing vocals, you start sounding like other people. I mean, it's just gonna happen. So, but I just liked everything about ELO, to answer your question.
And that's the other question too. When you say Bubblegum Orchestra, a lot of people say, "Oh, well, maybe he's bubblegum music." That you're not that. You're totally opposite of that.
It's kind of what I wanted. I didn't want the obvious. People think, "Oh, it's going to be Bubblegum Orchestra. It's going to be the Archies. It's going to be whatever."
That's what they think.
The Partridge Family, and I probably disappoint some people just by going by the name, and they listen to it. Oh, good. I'm going to listen to some bubblegum music, and it's not that. The name came around. It was a friend of mine in a past band, and he was always wanting to do a side project called Bubblegum Orchestra, which it never happened. And I thought, wow, that's a cool name. And I asked him one day, can I use that name? And he said, yeah, go ahead. It's all yours. So he gave me his blessings on the song title, or the name of the band. And so I just went from there. So I didn't think of the name, but I love the name. So it's like I didn't think, oh, I like Electric Light Orchestra, so I'm gonna put the word orchestra in the band name. So that came around, and yeah, that's how that started.
And you've got how many albums out as to date right now? The last album you just did.
12,
Wow, that's amazing. I
12
mean,
and
that's
10
just
years.
freaking amazing because, you haven't been around that long as far as music wise.
10
When
years.
did you start BGO?
2011.
Okay, see, that's not really that much time for that, but you've managed to put out significant album after album after album. And I'm telling you, the songs are just amazing. They got some great harmonies and sound. I tell everybody to check you guys out all the time. Of course, we started playing you, I think,
Thank you.
back with Keith James Sinclair show, which was a really prominent show in UK. And then I hope you got something out of that because I'm hoping you did.
Oh, I did, yes, and thank you for all your support and Keith's support. I spoke to Keith the other day, and he said, "Tell Gino a big hello from me from the UK." So I'm passing that along to you right now. But yeah,
Absolutely.
he's been a big supporter. Many people have been supporters, but he's been big, and you've been very big, and I'm just thankful. Somebody's listening. That's all I want is people to hear my music, and they love it. They love it. If they hate it, they hate it. Just how music is. So yeah, so that's how that happened.
So where do you get your ideas for the songs? I mean, I know it's music inspiration and it's from everyday life, but you constantly keep coming up with more stuff, and sometimes it's better than the stuff you did before, which is like, how can you outdo that? It's like outdoing El Dorado or New World Record or anything like that. How can you outdo what you already done?
I don't know how to outdo it. Every album is separate for me. I love them all equally, and I get inspired by. I like to write about love. The good, the bad, the ugly, the happy side of that. I just it's a universal topic. It's been done a million times, but not by me. So I love writing about that, and I get inspired by people, situations, things I see in life, people I see going through something great, going through something bad, and I just come up with an idea, a melody. It starts various ways, but I just get inspired by life in general. I know that's a generic answer, but I just look around me and pick up on things, and it's like, oh wow, that's cool. That could be a good idea. That could be a good song. Let's try it. Let's see what happens. And that's how they come out so quickly, I guess. I've been doing two a year, and I've just been inspired, Gene. And I figured this is my legacy. Get these ideas down, and get them recorded, and get it out there because that's what I'm going to leave behind. And I know one day the well might run dry. I don't know. Tomorrow I might wake up and say, I don't want to write another song. I don't know. I hope not because I enjoy it so much. But the history of my favorite bands in the past, I mean, they reach a point where they stop or, the music's not like it used to be. And I try not to repeat myself in albums, but it has a universal sound, my whatever the BGO sound is. But yeah, I just get inspired by life.
Awesome. So when you incorporate some of the songs, do you ever feel that you could have done something else with the song? I know that that's something you ask every creator, but at the same time, when you think about it, like when I did the song Bonfire with my friend Anne Marie Paserno, I said we could have done something different with that and tried something else. But she said, yeah, but it wouldn't have been where it was. So you feel that the same thing, you could have changed it, altered it a little bit more, a different way, or I mean, I know producers go through this all the time.
Since I'm doing everything here, when I come up with an idea, 98% of the time, that's what it is, and I just go with it. If it's something I don't like from the beginning, I know and I bail. But that happens very rarely. So I, I think just you can always change something. Is it going to be better? Is it going to be worse? The way I look at it is if I write something today, I might not have thought of that tomorrow. And why change it just because I can? Will it make it better? Will it make it worse? In whose eyes? I mean, I'm only trying to please myself here. And if I like it, it makes me feel something, I just go with it. And that's the moment of time for that song. And that's the way they happen.
Well, with your ability to produce what you produce, yeah, like your music, I say, is incredible. But you know, you just answered that question for me. But at the same time, I want to ask you: do you feel that people judge you wrongly based on the fact that your music is yellowish or Beatleish?
I think that's in the eye of the interpreter, you know. I think some people hear the word orchestra in there and they're just going to levitate and think, oh, it's going to be ELO. And I tell you, I don't know because I'm in my little bubble here in my studio and my little world here in Texas. But I've disappointed many people because they probably think, oh, this is the second coming of ELO. This is Jeff Lynne Part Two. And then when they listen to it, like you said, it's not, and it was never intended to be. And but a lot of people do think that, and I think they do get the wrong interpretation sometimes. But you know, that's
Right.
that's their ideas, you know.
In fact, can you name some of the albums for me? I mean, you got 12 of them. Can you? So people might want to look at them and pick them up. I mean, it's on your website, right? Bubblegumorchestra.com. Is that it?
Yes, sir. You can go see all of them there. It's Out of This World, Bubblegum Orchestra 2, The Discovery. What was the third? Beyond Time. Yeah. Sticky Love Song, Sixth Overture, and so on and so forth. I have to start looking at some of the posters on my walls here.
That's
They
I know,
just
but
all
what I love is the fact that they're all spins on something that ELO has done.
kind of in the beginning, you know, I wanted to get my foot in the door, and you know, I was reading stuff, you know, kind of associate yourself with, you know, an established band if you're an unknown, and that can help. So, you know, we start adding strings to some of this stuff. Like I said, it'll start sounding ELO-ish, and somebody compares me to ELO or Jeff Lynne. God bless him because that's a huge compliment. You know,
I
I
compare you
don't
to
feel
that.
that way.
I wait, no. I compare you to the man that they can do it all, but um,
Thank you.
not everybody can hang with him. Not everybody. I mean,
Well,
Phil Hatton from Welshman's Hill even will tell you that. He says like, not all of us can do what Jeff Lynne does, but you seem to
yeah,
succeed at least getting the sound like that.
I think some of the earlier albums, Docg, they were reminiscent. They had the sound, the feel to ELO, and I wanted that. I didn't do it on purpose, but it just came out of me. So I think some of those did. It started changing, I think, after Steve Love songs, and even though I still incorporate strings, I'm always experimenting with different instruments. There's not one instrument that defines me. Okay, what's Van Halen? A guitar band. You know, what's ELO? You know, it just an everything band. But with me, I'll write a song on any instrument if it turns me on. And so I think after Sticky Love Songs, it started changing a little bit and maybe getting more of a Hildebrandt true feel to it, especially some of these later ones. But I always wanted to keep the harmonies, the strings, and you know, it just goes on and on. And there's so many different ways to do things, and I'm just trying to do my own, trying to forge my own path. You know, set my own deal. And somebody wants to say, "Hey, that's like ELO." Great, that's awesome. If that's what you hear,
That's a big
perfect.
compliment. That's a big compliment. So, what instruments do you play, Michael?
Well, I play a little bit of everything, and it all adds up to the final sum of all, you know, totals. You know, a little piano. You know, bass guitar is my main. That's my main instrument. In the past, in other bands, touring and playing out live, it was bass guitar, and you know, vocals, backing vocals, in some of the bands I was in. But you know, the piano, and you know, the synthesizer, it's just whatever I have around me. And like I said, I can get my way into it to get it to a completed song. And I mean, don't put me on a stage and think I'm a concert pianist because that's not going to happen. But you know, I can do the rock and roll stuff, and
Right, right,
you
right.
know, I've had my brother Douglas Hildebrandt in the past come in and played some excellent guitars on some of the albums, and they sound awesome. And he's the guitar guy. I'll play a couple little leads here and there on some stuff, but I don't care how I ride as long as I get there. That's my motto. You know,
Have you ever
I don't
taken
care what.
BGO live?
No, no.
That's because it's all you, right?
It's all me, and I could get up some guys, and I'm sure it would be great. And you know, the climate out there in the music industry and live, especially now. Um, I liked playing live in the past with other bands, but I never, it was nothing that I loved. I did it, I did it to my best, I think pretty well. But as far as bringing this to life, it would just take an army of musicians, you know, to bring it to life. I don't want to taint it by going live because, you know, then it's live. And it's just always been a studio thing. And I'll never say never, but I don't anticipate that. I don't
Well,
anticipate.
Michael, Alan Parsons used to say the same thing. And you know how he started out in the studio. So he eventually went live and he blew it up. I mean, my good friend Godfrey Townsend that was in the band that he did a live video with in Spain, I think it was. And with all the musicians, I mean, in the buildup of Alan Parsons, I'm just saying, I'm just relating that Alan
Sure.
Parsons was never live. They were all studio musicians. And a lot of them earlier were find out from my friend Robert Berry, which I kind of knew, was Ambrosia before Ambrosia became Ambrosia the band. And that's, in the 70s and 80s. But everybody needs a backing band. Even Toto backed Boz Scaggs in the 70s. They were nobody, you
Right.
know? So
Yeah.
don't say that you can't get people together because you know you can. If you build up the fan that you have all over the world, you build up the fans that you present, that listen to the music and love you, you could definitely do something. I'm not saying it because I want you to. I'm saying it because it's the option. You always have the option. But you're right. You're right. You do what you need to do. And if you feel that gives you that mystique, that's good too. You don't have to take it live. You don't.
Right.
Um,
Uh,
but you always have that option.
there is always that option, and I love Alan Parsons Project. And yeah, I grew up. I had all the albums,
No,
and then it's like,
no.
oh, he never plays live, and then he started playing live, and you know, he's got the backing to get whoever he wants in his band and do it right. BGO would not just be a guitar, bass, drums, and singer band. It's just not the way it's set up. And when I write, I don't write any song to say, oh, can that be played live? I don't care about live. It's you know, you have a song forever. You know that you can listen to. If you want to try to bring it live later, great. But I don't write that way. And it was great when Alan went out on tour and I saw some of that footage. It was awesome. But you're right. You can do anything you want whenever you want. You know, I will never say never. Let's leave it at that again.
So what's your current situation like for family? Are you married? You have kids?
Not married. I've not been married for 25 years. I've been happily unmarried. Let's
Good for you.
quote my friend Gene Simmons. Um, I'm in a relationship right now. It's great. It's awesome. I'll reveal some more of that later. It's a big thing, and yeah. So no children, none that I know of. You gotta do that. So like I said, with my legacy, that's my music, and I started realizing that about 10 years ago. And, you got to think ahead, and let's just leave some songs. Leave some music, make somebody happy.
And you had some impressive people on your albums over the years. Some people from Wings. Can you tell me a little bit about working with them?
Sure. I had Stevie Howard, the trumpet player, flugel player for Wings. He played from 75 to 80 and did all their live shows. He played in the studio on Wings Over America. He played on Silly Love Songs. That's his trumpet playing on that
Right.
on that album. And yeah, he's from close to where I live here, and I met him through some mutual friends. He's the nicest, down to earth guy in the world. I mean, he's an accomplished jazz player. You know, he played Patti LaBelle back in the day. All these big bands, and Paul discovered him in somewhere in Louisiana. He was in a club playing. Paul was looking for a horn player. Walked in and, hey, do you want to be in my band? So that's how that started. But yeah, it
Cool.
was a joy working. Yeah, so it was a joy working with him, and you know, he comes into the studio, and I had a couple songs that I asked him to play on. He came in, was very generous, and he's sitting here telling me stories about going out on tour. It's a very surreal thing. You know, they're out on tour with Paul and Linda. They're very nice people. They treat us well, and this and that. And he actually said, he goes, Michael, he goes, being in your studio reminds me of being in Abbey Road Studios with Paul working on the Wings Over America album. He goes, because like you had some stuff that, you know, charts that you wanted me to, play a certain way. But then you gave me the liberty to do whatever I wanted. And he goes, you know, that's what Paul did on Silly Love Songs. So I was like, oh, wow, that's cool. You know, so working with him was great. I worked with some other really great, you know, musicians, and I just sometimes like to invite friends onto my album. Hey, I want a keyboard player to come on, and I know a guy, you know, another guy. So yeah, but I think Stevie it was very fun. But all of them have been equally as fun, just in a different way. But Steve had some pretty cool stories about Paul McCartney and Wings.
Cool. So who else have you had on albums? Anybody else?
I've had a local guy that's Lanny Flowers from the Penguins. He's older school guy. He's great singer, guitar player, the jangle pop, and I've listened to his music, Lanny Flowers Band, for
Oh, Lanny. Yeah,
years.
we're good friends with Lanny. Yeah, yeah, I know who
Yeah,
Lanny
so
is.
Lanny came in. I wanted him to sing a bridge on "You Gave Up on Love" off of Sticky Love Songs, and we connected. And great guy. Came over. We hung out. It's like we known each other forever. Came in, knocked it out, had a great time, and so he came in. Another local guy here, Les Barrington from the band Sugar Bomb. They were pretty popular in the 90s. They were signed to RCA Records, and they've had some songs in a couple movies, Orange County, for example. And Les came in. He's played piano on some of my stuff. He's sang vocals because he was the lead vocalist and piano player in Sugar Bomb. So he's come in. Of course, I've had my brother. He's done phenomenal work on everything he's touched in here. And yeah, Bob Stewart from another past band. He's a guitar player. He came in and he's more, you know, he's just real technical ripper, you know, classic, great sound. I wrote a couple songs that I wanted him to play on. He's played, and it's not a lot of people because I like to do it myself. But occasionally I like to have somebody come in. I have a friend out in Los Angeles, Adam Hamilton, and after I released my recent album, he contacted me and said, "Hey, I want to play drums on one of your future songs on an album." So we're going to be connected and do that. And he does a lot of really special stuff out there in Los Angeles for big bands. And he's a producer, songwriter, and all that stuff. So occasionally I'll have somebody in, but recently I really haven't. I've just been getting lost in my own little world here and doing it myself.
What's it like in that brain of yours to think of all these songs? I just can't. I mean, I think of every now and then I think of a couple songs here and there that I'm writing on the side, but I don't know how you, like you said, how you just keep grabbing something that other people have a hard time grabbing. It's just natural to you, it seems like, right?
I think it is, you know, knock on wood, whatever. Um, I don't plan any albums. I don't sit there and think, you know, I'm going to do an album. I'm going to write 30 songs and pick the best 12. I've never done that. I'll just start and something inspires me, like we were talking about, and I just move forward with the idea, and they just come. I don't know how they come. I don't know why. I'm not going to ask why. Um, but that's how that gets going. Is just I come up with an idea and just start rolling with it. it's a lot. I was talking to my brother yesterday. I said, I need a vacation. I really do. It's it's just built up, and I do everything. So every instrument, and I mix it, and I do everything. The producing, you just got to do it all, which I love. I love all that, but it just is a lot. I'm working on a double album, hopefully coming out next year, 18 songs. I'm currently in the middle of that. But I told my brother, I said, I've done, you know, 12 songs in 10 or 12 albums in 10 years, over 130
Yeah,
some songs.
yeah.
And at some point I got to step back and just, but when the ideas are coming, I've got to keep going because the idea I had today might not, like I said, be here tomorrow. And it'd be a shame if I missed out on that song. So at some
Right.
point, I'm going to just step back a little bit here.
Well, you know,
For
I mean, as an artist, you know this. You write down everything you can, and you try to put it in your mind, and then you try to come up with a thing. But I seems like when people force things and they try to get that extra track. I've talked to many musicians, and they try to get that extra track, and it just won't come because they're trying to force it happening. You got to just like sit back and you got to let it happen, just like you said. I think that's the best way to write. So, what are some of your favorite songs that you've written and performed on your albums? I know there's probably many, but just give me like maybe the first few five.
gosh, it's like picking your favorite children, you know?
I know, but it's just a question. What do your fans ask you to they want to hear all the time on radio and stuff? You're played on many other radios. You played on,
Ask me
you
that.
know, what's her name? In England, Kiana. I forget her name. Oh my God,
Shash? Oh,
Chaz.
yeah, she's
Yeah, now
great.
she's Kai. Yeah,
Yeah,
Kai.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they
She
asked
loves
me
you,
that.
and I love you too. I mean, I love you too. But
Oh,
again,
I love both of you.
what are they asking you guys that I communicate with my musician people, friends, and I say, oh, they're asking for this song or they're asking for this album more. So I can give them an idea, at least what's going on, who's asking for it, where they're asking for it. And maybe they could, somehow get advertisers or sponsors or whatever. The thing is, I'm just
Sure.
communicating with them. And I just
Right.
wanted to know, what are people asking for? What did the public like? I know all the songs, but, some.
Sure. Well, most of the time they're coming to me and telling me what they like. Oh, I love this song. Or, maybe off my second album, Today is Beautiful, or Loving One Another. And, I love those songs. And a fan or, BGO friend is what I call them here in the United States contact me. And I did the greatest hits last year, 40 songs. This is the ones I picked. And how could you leave this song out on, off the second album? It's more of what they like. It's like, I like them all. I have to tell them I like I like everyone equally.
It's hard
And
to
if I'm
pick. It's
listening to
hard to pick.
it is. And you notice I'm a little dancing around your question here. So, but I
It's all
like the
right.
song
It's
I wrote
okay.
on Night in Shangri-La off the first album. I really like that, and I like a lot of the recent stuff I've been writing also. I like to move forward and want to put out a new album. I'm totally into the new album. I just released Angel Dreams, Missing Me, Missing You. That's a single off there, and I love that song. So I could pick one. I could pick a lot of them off every one, but
I know. It's really hard.
it just
So
depends on
tell
the
me some of
day.
the songs that you were just mentioning, Django Dreams. Tell me a little bit about that. What is that about, so our listeners and viewers know?
It's about love. It's kind of a love story, a positive love story. Um, Sticky Love Songs was a double album, and that was something I went through in the past, and every song's pretty much life story on that album. It's difficult for me to listen to that one at this point because I love the songs, but the topics are just kind of remind me of something not so pleasant in the past. But this new one's about new love. It's just positive, in this world we live in. You know what's going on, and I just try to bring some positivity to it and write about positive things. You're not going to hear me writing about politics or
I know. I
any
know.
of other stuff or a tree in the forest. I just write about what I like and what I think hopefully people can relate to in a positive world. But this new album's it's just a positive love story, you know, just all good stuff. Just hopefully the listener hears it and says, "Hey, this made me feel a little better about my day," or whatever. A lot of people aren't as blessed as me, and they're going through stuff every day. And if a if a song can bring you up, I mean, what more can you ask out of a song? So that's what I try to do, and that's what I try to do with Angel Dreams and
Oh, cool.
all my albums actually.
Yeah, no, I know. I know. That's what I was trying to relate to with a lot of the stuff you do. So with the COVID, has that changed your writing ability, or have you like written more, right?
I didn't write any more or any less.
Oh,
It's going
okay.
on. I mean, I didn't sit down like some musicians and start writing stuff about COVID or anything like that. I just, what song, what, I wrote Angel Dreams during COVID over like a month and a half period. And then it takes, another 11 months to mix it. And of course, I'm writing another album in between there. So I wrote Angel Dreams. I mean, it's a very positive love story. And that's what happened. I didn't write any more or less during the COVID.
Now, if I ask you, can you autograph some CDs for me? Would you be able to send them to me like that? If other people want them done, can you do it? As long as
I
we
can
order them from
absolutely
your
do.
website, I'm saying, yeah.
You just let me know what you need, and I can do that. I only have CDs for the first 5 albums. After
Oh
that,
wow.
I've got a closet full of CDs. Would you like to buy them? Because most people won't buy them. The good people will buy them. A lot of people will steal your music, and I found that out the hard way.
Oh, downloading. Yeah.
I found a site over in England. I don't want to go to a negative place here, but it showed how
I'm
many
sorry they're doing that.
downloads. Have, I mean, like $250,000 worth of all my albums have been illegally downloaded. But
That's just
I,
wrong.
I didn't know why I was on there, but the Stones were on there. All my favorite bands, the Beatles. So if I'm getting that hit, imagine what they're getting. They're just, it just happens. So I stopped doing CDs. I love CDs. They just, they cost money, and the sales weren't. I sell, but I just stopped doing it. It's easier to do downloads, and I love the way they sound. And it seems like the modern thing. You buy a new vehicle these days, doesn't even have a CD player in it. So if I was going to do it, I'd do albums, but they're kind of expensive. But yeah, it's downloads. I can send you the first 5 albums.
Whatever. I mean, I'm happy with whatever. But I'm just saying it's kind of weird. I mean, we're talking about this, but artists really got to understand that if they're not making a lot of money, it's because a lot of these sites are doing this.
That's exactly right. And once that happened, I was just startled. I was like, oh my god. So I contacted from back in the day. I had a music attorney, and hey, anything I can do about this? I know my favorite bands. There's nothing they can do about it, but what can we do? He goes, well, might cost you $40,000. We'll shut them down. A week later, they'll open up on another URL.
Exactly
We'll
what
do
they
the
do.
same
Yep.
thing,
Yep.
and nothing you can do. You just sit back and take it, and it can be it's a downer. I mean, if you don't start thinking about it, and then you got to realize why you're doing it and refocus your mind. I'm doing it because I love it. I feel I have something to offer, and that's that needs to be the main focus, not about money or feeling like I have to
Well,
write
and
something or
again,
sound.
and again, that Michael, that's kind of what I'm talking about too. It's not fair that you should be able to do with that. The other issue is, and I just talked to Robert Berry about this from Ambrosia and Sammy Hagar and everything. We were talking about what happens when this happens, but he's like, you got to really love the music. If you look back and you're going to lose music, then you're not making music for the right reasons. You have to make music so people can hear it. And what does every artist and musician want? People to get their music. I mean, that's the truth, but we want to give it away for free, but yet you can't control that. So you have to look at, okay, well, people are at least getting my music, they're hearing it, they're downloading it. It's not right, but at the same
Right.
time, it's getting played, it's getting heard.
Sure. Yeah.
So
It's a
I don't know if that makes
double-edged
you
sword.
feel any better, but there's, like you said, there's so many people going through the same thing. They've already made their millions and millions of dollars, you know?
Yeah.
Here we are, you and I, Bonfire, I don't think even sold more than 2,000 downloads. But the thing is, it was up for a Grammy nomination. It doesn't matter the music. What matters is if it gets out there.
Right. And that's what's hard.
I mean, that's the only spin I can put on it, because I feel what you're feeling. But if you have to put a price on something, at least your music is being played.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I realize that, and that is at the bottom line. That's what you want, is people to hear it, people to enjoy it, And I think you're right. There's enough about it, and you just move on, and you put out an album, and you feel inspired, you do another one, and do your best, and please yourself first, and anybody else out there that likes it, that's just icing on the cake for me. But yeah, I mean, what are you gonna do? I mean, that's society today. You know, some
I
people
will
live
ask
with
you
that.
this question though, based on ELO. And I know that I'm going to get this from a lot of ELO people, and either going to happy or about it or hate it. But there's been a lot of negative stuff of the last few Jeff Lynne ELO albums. And I look at it this way: the man has given us so much music, it doesn't really matter that it's not as good as or as bad as whatever. The thing is, he made it. It's his own. Do you feel that way about your music too?
No, because I don't get enough feedback to have anybody really say that about it.
You
Maybe
don't.
people are talking. I really, I mean, I do, but nobody ever says that. I mean, not to me personally, but I understand the Jeff Lynne thing. He's done it all, and people that are hearing his new music, they're probably at an older age, and they grew up listening to Out of the Blue or New World Record, and it brings back great memories. And then you're older and things change, and you hear something that's like they're quick to, oh, it doesn't sound like this, or it doesn't sound like that.
Not
Well,
supposed
it
to.
sounds like Jeff Lynne. No, it's supposed to sound like Jeff Lynne, and he gave us these last three albums. They're great. You can't. I I can't. I mean, I can, but I don't compare other people's work with. Oh, I
Past.
like the other one better. Because you might have been going through something in your life that was great, and so, oh, I really love that album. Now you're going through something that maybe he's not, and then he puts out a new album. It's like, that's kind of reflects on yourself. It's not the artist or Jeff Lynne. Thank God he's still doing it. It's great, and the album covers are awesome. He was out touring, and I went and saw him a couple times in the last
Oh,
few
did you? Good.
years.
That
And
was good. Did you
oh,
get to meet him
yeah,
backstage?
he doesn't meet anybody. Now,
That's not true. That is not true.
damn,
That
don't tell me that.
Michael, that is not true. Phil Hatton said if I ever went to go to a Jeff Lynne concert, I would be able to get back, because remember, he's his backstage man.
I've got a Phil
That's
Hatton
different
story.
because you know the guy. You know the guy through another guy. That's different. But if you're just a fan, yeah, you're right. Unless he
Yeah.
has a VIP, you're not going to, absolutely.
I met Phil, Mr. Hatton, through Keith Sinclair. Keith had sent him a song I did off of Beyond Time, Yellow Forever. It's just kind of a homage to, the ELO songs. And
Right.
he sent it to Phil. Phil sent me an email. Great job, mate. And that's all it said. It's like, oh, wow, that's cool. So I knew him, and I knew he's Jeff Lynne's right-hand man. So I sent him a couple emails before the Chicago gig, and he was very nice. He goes, there's nothing I can do to help you out. So I understand
Oh,
that.
really? Okay. All right.
I, I'm just, I'm just, I'm just a fan. I mean, Bubblegum Ocean, that means nothing to Jeff Lynne or Phil, and I was fine with that. But I tried. I mean, I had a guy,
You did
and I
try.
was
You
able
did
to
try.
actually contact him. Very polite, nice, professional, back and forth, and that was fine. But somebody, my friend that got us into the United Center, we did the backstage pass and everything. He lives in Chicago. He contacted somebody through American Express, which was you could get the pre-sale stuff, and asked about, I got a big fan, meaning me, can just one or two of us come back 10 seconds, hello, Mr. Lynn. That's it, leave. And the guy said, let me check into it. And he got back with him and he said, um, would there be a, probably for I paraphrase this, kind of like the right amount of money that could happen, like as a donation, if you're Jeff's favorite charity, which I understand, but I have 10 grand to drop to see Jeff Lynne for 20 seconds, and I understand that. And that's the way it works. And I'm fine with that. But
I know you're right.
That was
You're
an
right.
opportunity.
I know it's again, it's one of them things that people say they can do it and then they obviously can't. It's okay. You learn to live with it and you just deal with it.
Yeah.
But at least you got to see him. And what was he like performing? I don't want to talk just about him, but I can see a lot of the videos that he was just like he was used to be.
Just like he used to be. Looks like he used to be. We were in the second row center. It was awesome. And it sounded like the album, only live. And I don't know, but I'm pretty sure they're not doing any hocus pocus stuff there. They got so many people that are so accomplished musicians. They're
Great musicians.
Singing all that. I totally believe all that. I know the orchestration they're doing on the keyboards, which is fine, but they're playing all of it. And, Jeff was live, and it just sounded phenomenal. I loved it. And I'm just very thankful and grateful that I was able to see him. Maybe for the last time. I don't know. Who knows in this climate of this world? It's safe to go to a concert. Oh yeah. But
I just want to say, me and my wife were going to go to the first Jeff Lynne concert, which was after his Zoom tour. It was actually a Zoom tour. But what happened was, that was 2009, I think. And what happened was his concert didn't sell enough tickets, so they canceled the concert. So we lost the thing. And I told her when he came around again, I said, I don't think I want to go again because I don't want to go through that. And then the concert was like, oh my God, these tickets are selling out. You can't get the tickets. And I'm like, where the hell was it? Back in 2009, I was ready to go. I could go.
I know.
So
I know.
I look at it like, yeah.
Yeah, Zoom tour never happened. I had a friend that was he worked at some of the big venues here and booked all the bands. And so I contacted him and said, hey, I would like to go to ELO. And he goes, that's not selling any tickets. It sold like 2,000 tickets out of a $16,000 outdoor amphitheater. And it was in the paper that they're coming on this date, and then it just all got shut down. So I think his songs in movies and, a new generation hearing his songs, Mr. Blue Sky, they just love it because he's the real deal. He's like another Beatle, and he's classy, and it's done right. When you go see him, it'd be great, and it's just nice music. So.
Well, Michael, I put you in that category too. Even though you're not as famous as him, you're still as technical as him. You're still as musical as him. You're still as personable as him and classy as him. So with that said, and I just want to say, because we're about coming up to our time, we have to leave in a couple minutes. Could you do a sweeper for the station?
Absolutely. What do you want done?
So just say whatever you want to say and just say you're listening to Hamilton Radio.
How many takes do I get on this live? So
as many as you want. As many as you want. You can do 2, 3. It's fine. Whatever you want to do.
Let's do this.
Or you can send me a studio one. Some people rather prefer me to send a studio one.
I could do that. I'll give it a shot.
And then you can put your music in the background and do that and send it to my email, and that's good too. I'm happy with that.
Let me do that. I can do that.
Yeah, because when I do this show in audio, say what I do by Crystal Cavern, I do Crystal Cavern for Deborah Milstein, and of course Laney Flowers is on that show, and a bunch of other musicians are on that show. I can run the sweeper with that after the show. It's just like it'd be on the show anyway.
Sure, that's great. It'd be awesome.
Oh, I got another musician saying hi to you. This guy is, I want you to say hi to Mickey. Mickey's a friend of mine. He's a musician. Mickey, do you have any questions for Michael? Michael is a great band called Bubblegum Orchestra, and he is a good friend. Well, he's a friend of mine for years, but we never talked. Today we talking, so we're just looking for people that want any questions because I've been asking the questions for about an hour. If there's any other questions, what band is he with? Of course, music. But his music is incredible. And he has a lot of stuff to say in his songs and music, a lot of inspirational stuff, and a lot of stuff for people to understand. And he's had some great people on his CDs and music. So but yeah, thank you, Michael, for being here. Mickey's watching us, checking us out. Share us with other people, Mickey. Oh, he's just okay. He says, I'm just stopping in, say hi. I'm getting ready to move. Okay, no problem, Mickey. I'll talk to you later.
All right.
Thank you for being here, man.
On.
Thanks for at least watching us. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Rock on, Mickey. Rock on, brother.
So, with Michael, with ending this, how do we end this? Let's you got a new album coming out. So the album's going to be coming out virtually when?
The album just came out a couple weeks ago.
Oh, that's the new one you're talking about. That's the new one you're talking about. Okay, that's the one we're talking about. That's okay.
But I'll shamelessly promote something else. I have another album that's completely finished except for the finishing mixing and the mastering, and it's called 4,000 Miles to Eden. Continues where Your Dreams left off, and it's done. I might release later this year, probably. Why not?
Beautiful.
Do it.
Beautiful.
Get it out there. Let people.
No, beautiful. No, I want to thank you for being here. You're a great guest, wonderful person. Like I said, I've known you for a while, but I've never talked to you. It happens most of the time, even with Steve Katz from Blood, Sweat, and Tears. I've known him for about 10 years, still haven't talked to him. It's the way life is.
It's the way it is.
But it doesn't mean we can't every now and then. So if you got a new album out or you're promoting something, maybe a book in the future, maybe of all the albums that you've done, all the music that you've done, and kind of put it in a sequence where people can go, oh, that's what's from this album and that's from that album. It's like,
sure.
Maybe it'll get you more sales too. It's whatever. Marketing is marketing. Doesn't matter.
Hey, it doesn't. As long as you get your songs out there, right?
And that's it. And again, I'm sorry about what they're doing to you in other countries, but we love you here. And I love the music. And I will be, after we're done, I will be going to your website and I'll be trying to figure out how to purchase at least some of the CDs or the albums. But if I purchase them there, I'm telling you now that when I purchase them, that I want you to sign whatever you can sign. Physical.
Let's just send me a text. Send me a text on your phone, and we'll talk that way, or I'll call you. Or you call me. Perfect. Yeah, let's do that before you buy
whatever works. But if people want to do it, they can go to your website, bubblegumorchestra.com, right?
That's the only place. I took it off all the other places for various reasons.
I understand. Yeah, I understand. You need to. Yeah, you're the one it's got to go through you, and that's perfect. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later. Thank you for being here, everybody. Thank you for watching us, Mickey, as well. But Michael, I'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate your time and all your support. I'm very thankful.
It's always here for you if you ever need it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Have a great afternoon.
You too, buddy. Bye-bye.